first song, Come Together.
Heart and soul, let's come together. Mike's Path Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Jamica Wallace. I am a licensed practitioner and your board president, and it is my honor and privilege to welcome you here today. I know there's lots of other places you could have found yourself, but you're here, so thank you for not disappointing us. We needed you here. Normally Reverend Steve would be here to welcome everybody, but he had an unexpected opportunity to practice some of this self-care that we're going to be talking about today, self-care and self-love, and so he will be back next week. But I get to be up here and share with you guys today, so yay! So we're going to start off what we start every Sunday with, and that is our vision statement. Thank you, that's what that is. And that states, we are an open, loving, spiritual community dedicated to evolving consciousness through teaching spiritual principles. Okay, and then I have just a few announcements that I'm going to share with everybody. Up first, we have our annual members meeting coming up on September the 24th at noon, so it'll be right after our Sunday service, so make sure you mark that on your calendar. During this, we will be having our election of trustees. We will talk about our annual financial report and do a presentation of our annual budget that's coming up here to date. And then also, Reverend Steve will have a minister's report. We do need to have a quorum at this meeting, so please do make sure that you mark it and be here so that we can take care of all that business that we get to take care of once a year. Up next, the notification went out. You should have gotten in the mail, if you are already a member, a notification notice and also a member verification letter. This is something that we have to do once a year. We have to update our membership because we have that annual meeting and we have to have a quorum. In order for that quorum, we have to know how many members we have. So we do need you to turn that in. Today was the deadline for that. So if you did not get yours or you haven't had a chance to turn it in and you would like to get one today and fill it out, if you can just raise your hand, Nicole will do a count and get a copy for you. At the end of service, we'll make sure we have one of those available for you guys, okay? Thank you. Okay. We also have some positions coming available this September for our board. There are nomination packets available on the back counter, and if you have any questions about that, you can ask myself or Reverend Steve. Next, we have Exploring the Roots of Science of Mind will be starting on Wednesday, September the 13th. This is going to be an evening class from 6 to 9 p.m. It's a 10-week class where we're going to be exploring the roots of science of mind. It's a transformational class and a fascinating journey through the minds of New Thought luminaries who greatly influenced Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science. This class will be facilitated by myself and Janice Garbe. And there is a sign-up sheet available on the back counter. If you have any questions, you can contact me and I'd be happy to answer those for you. Up next, we also have a book study group going to be starting on Thursday, September the 21st. This is The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown, and the class will be on the 21st from 3 to 5 for 6 weeks. The powerful book by Brene Brown shows you how to embrace your inner flaws, to accept who you are instead of constantly chasing the image of who you're trying to be. Embrace authenticity and wholehearted living. There will be experiential exercises, sharing and discussion, and meditations in this deep transformational class. It's a $20 per class love offering donation, and there is a sign-up sheet on the back counter, or if you have any questions, you can contact Deborah. Okay, next, our soul collage, that is coming up next Saturday, September the 9th. There's more information available on the back counter. Registration is required for this so that we do have enough supplies. And this is a fundraiser, so all of the proceeds are going to go to our beautiful center. If you have any questions, you can ask Sam. She'll hold up her hand there. And then there's also the sign-up sheets available on the back counter. All right, Our metaphysical book study group is continuing from 9 to 9:45, and instead of being in the conference room, we have now moved over to our LEC building. So join us over there. Right now we're studying the Living the Science of Mind, but I know we're getting ready to wrap that up here shortly, and then they will be moving into the Science of Mind text by Ernest Holmes. So that'll be exciting, and quite a few years probably, so. We'll have it covered. All right, and then the meditation group does continue right after that book study. The practitioners are offering a 15-minute meditation. This is from 10:50 to 10:05, and it's held in the same building over there in the LEC. And I do believe that I've made it to the end of our announcements. So if you would like to stand and join me in singing We Are One. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Deborah Perdue, and I'm a licensed practitioner here, and I really am honored and enjoy to be up here sharing with you all. So let's read the gratitude together. I am thankful to show up as an example of what life looks like, and so it is. Let's see. You know, I don't think it's in here, but I know that isn't it birthday Sunday?
Yes, it is.
Yes. So who was born in September? Please raise your hand or stand up. Everybody sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. So before I read more of the script, I just want to say I was up here last Sunday too, and I talked about the smoke and how hot it was and said how grateful I am for 11 months of clear air, and now here we have it again.
Clear air.
We are so blessed to have rain this week. It was real rain.
Yay.
And how wonderful for the fire. So, and the air is clear and it's cool. So I am very, very grateful for right now. And I feel like it's going to stay for a while. So thank you, God. What is a practitioner and what we do? Instead of me saying a lot about it, we have about practitioner sheet. And we also have our phone numbers on the back, and we invite you to use us
as you can to pray for you. And one of the ways you can also have prayer for yourself is to fill out a prayer request, which is on the seat back in front of you. And you can put it at the practitioner table or even in the offertory. We love to pray with and for you. Let's see. Also, you can go to, we have lots of options. You can also go to grandspascsl.org and fill out an online prayer request. And so we hold consciousness for you. We pray for anything troubling you or else even more good. And we love to pray for you. So use us. And Paula is our table practitioner. Thank you, Paula. And she will either pray with and for you or connect you with another practitioner. And the people that are practitioners that are willing to pray today, can you raise your hand? We have 4. That's great. Let's see. The flowers today are from Chris Strong. They're fall flowers, I noticed. Is there anyone here for the very first time? If so, please raise your hand. Welcome. And Jamica will bring you a welcome packet. Do the people that I know were here 10 years ago want a packet? Welcome. So after the service, we have refreshments over there on those tables, and we invite you to get to know everyone. We're glad you're here. So let's read the prayer together. I am filled up with love for myself and all others. I dive deep into loving myself, and in doing so, I share and expand love with the world. And so it is. And we're going to sing I Am Loved. You can remain seated as we sing it. So our theme today is about self-love, and I think all of us can use a little more self-love, right? I can. So I'm going to read one gratitude from my my own book, and it's day 21 from Gratitude Reflections, Volume 2, and it starts with a quote from Jack Cornfield. If your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. And I say, it is so much easier to love others than to truly love myself. I am so grateful when I'm able to hold myself in the highest regard, love myself immeasurably, forgive myself as readily as I forgive others. Watching myself growing in self-love as the years go by, I am thankful. And I'm grateful for every time I catch myself in negative self-talk, so I can transform those words into appreciation instead. Just like everyone, I am a work in progress, and I celebrate my kindness toward myself and all other sentient beings. And the next passage is from a daily guide by Laurasia Mattingly about self-love. Loving ourselves. We must love ourselves. We must befriend ourselves. We must be able to come home to ourselves. Loving ourselves requires strength, courage, and understanding. Before I found meditation, I used to love myself conditionally. I loved myself only on the days when I felt joyful, peaceful, and happy. But this was not love. Love is like a gentle rain. It doesn't pick and choose where to rain and not to rain, it just rains. This is how we must love ourselves. Love is unconditional, without bounds. We must love ourselves through it all. on the good days, the bad days, and everything in between. And so let's go into the sacred silence together for a couple minutes. If you feel comfortable, place your hands over your heart and let your love be like rain and let it wash over every cell in your body, mind, and spirit. And I'll mind the time. And as we come back into this room, I am knowing that this Grants Pass Center for Spiritual Living is a blessing to each person here and to the people on Zoom. And it's a blessing to the world. I'm so grateful for our love and our peace and our joy and the high vibe of Grants Pass CSL. I know that this service is a blessing to each of us and that all is truly well. Thank you, and so it is. It's time for special music by Dave and then Jamica's talk.
I love myself the way I am. There's nothing I need to change. I'll always be the perfect me, where there's nothing to rearrange. I'm beautiful, I'm capable of being the best me I can. I love myself just the way I am. Well, I love you the way you are. There's nothing you need to do. When I feel love inside myself, it's easy to love you. Behind your fears, your rage and tears, I see your shining star. And I love you just the way you are. I love the world the way it is, 'cause I can clearly see that all the things I judge are done by people just like me. Till the birth of peace on earth that only a love can bring, I'll help it grow by loving everything. I love myself the way I am, and still I want to grow. But change outside can only come deep inside. I know I'm beautiful, I'm capable of being the best me I can. And I love myself just the way I am. Everybody sing along. I love myself the way I am. There's nothing I need to change. I'll always be the perfect me. There's nothing
Hear me? Okay, come on. Woohoo! Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Yes, we are so blessed. Okay. Through here. Alrighty, loving out loud. This week's title, this whole theme of September is love out loud. And this week title is I love myself so much. So there's a popular song, that was a good one too, Dave, that was a very good one, thank you. There's a popular song that came out through the CSL's Teen Camp that says, I love myself so much, so I can love you so much, so you can love you so much, so you can start loving me.
Oh, no.
So we're gonna plant a seed today. You guys are gonna repeat that after me, all right? Y'all ready? I love myself so much.
I love myself so much.
So I can love you so much.
So I can love you so much.
So you can love you so much.
So you can love you so much.
So you can start loving me.
So you can start loving me.
Planted those seeds right there. In the science of mind, we often say that the word God is synonymous with love because God is all there is. Love must be all that there is. But in a world where war, violence, and division is challenging to see God or love, resides everywhere behind the darkness. This month, we are being invited to lean into love and express our love out loud. Let's look for love in all the right places. We look for love in the people we interact with, in the events of the world, and most of all, within ourselves. So do you ever wonder why we love our animals so much? Anybody like their little furry critters, anyone? Yeah, right? Could it possibly be just because we desire to love so deeply, we want to love so much? If we want to see more love in the world, we must be willing to live as an example of love in action. Enjoying the experience of being loved and loving others starts with us loving ourselves. We inspire love in the world by being living examples of what love looks like. So if we want to encourage others to love themselves, we must love ourselves out loud. The people around us benefit from knowing about our own self-care practices. So let me ask, what does your self-care look like? Do you pamper yourself on a regular basis? Good. Others are more likely to look at their own practices after they can see how you've been effectively caring for yourself. People who love us, when they see the shift, say, I want a little bit of that. What are you doing? So let's dive a little deeper into loving ourselves all the time. And let's be open enough to share our experiences with the world. The Science of Mind says on page 433, ultimately, we shall see the universe rest on the shoulder of love, that God is love, and that all the errors of man or humanity are the result of ignorance of his or her own true nature. An evolved soul judges no one and condemns no one, but realizes that all are on the road of experience, seeking the same goal, and that each must ultimately find his home in heaven. Living a spiritual life requires a conscious understanding that spirit or love expresses itself as all of us all the time. Recognizing the divinity within all of us starts with us recognizing our own divinity. We are constantly directing When we constantly direct the energy of love, we transform the communities around us. Our intuition is the way that spirit communicates with us. So when we listen to our intuition and allow it to guide us, we are living in the flow of love. So we have 3 talking points we're going to cover today, and the first of these is our intuition. Oh, that intuitive hit. Our intuition is always nudging us forward into the right direction. When we are compelled towards a person or an experience, this is spirit in action. Spirit's loving presence is always guiding us along the perfect path. Fully trusting our intuition is the most loving choice that we can make for ourselves and for others. Seeing our own divinity and honoring every step along our path demonstrates to others that their intuition can also be trusted. The more that we trust our intuition, the easier our path becomes. Sharing our stories about our challenges and our triumphs of listening to our intuition is what will inspire others to be able to do the same. So has anybody ever experienced intuition in here?
That's how I got
Anyone?
it.
Yeah, got brought up here, right? That little nudge that, maybe for me, like I know I've gotten it and said, hey, you might take another road home today, And I took another road home and I get home and here, oh my gosh, there's a pileup on that road and there was a major accident that I just missed, right? We've all experienced those things. But do you share them? Do you open your mouth and share those experiences with others? I hope so. I do. I'm like, oh my gosh. One of my really good friends, coincidences or cooperative incidences of spirit, right? There's no such thing as a coincidence. So when we're open to sharing those experiences, we open up to allowing others to trust their intuition, to get those little nudges and to pay attention to them and to not feel silly for sharing their experiences out loud with what they got. We open that up for everyone. Okay, so as we share our experiences, we help others to embrace their intuition. So our second point of topic we're going to talk about is that we were not born to just fit in. We weren't born to be in the box. You were created to stand out. It's a different concept, huh? What? Conformity and uniformity were designed as methods of social control. Characteristically, our unique identities defy these systems. The more that we love ourselves as we are, the more those systems of control are broken down. Gender roles, political parties, and anything that separates us becomes obsolete. Authenticity becomes a cultural value. When we embrace who we truly are, we contribute to shifting our communities into a loving, healthy place that we want to be in. Embracing our identity as divine expressions of spirit inspires others to do the same. The seeds of love that we plant today become the trees of love where generations of people can enjoy the fruits and spirits of love. So be authentically you. And finally, our third point we're going to talk about today is inspiring more love. When we love ourselves unconditionally, flaws and all, we can love others unconditionally. Inspiring more love in the world starts with us loving ourselves. When we love ourselves, we can love each other more fully. We can begin to recognize that life is filled with love. And as we begin to see it everywhere we go, we begin to see it more and more. So if you guys remember a few weeks, last week or the week before, I couldn't remember which one, but Reverend Steve had mentioned to us about yellow Jeeps. Everyone remember those yellow Jeep conversation that we had? Has anybody seen any yellow Jeeps since that conversation, right? Like, I have seen so many yellow Jeeps, it is insane. But that's exactly the way this works. When we plant that seed, if we just set the intention to look for love, we're gonna start seeing it. You can't miss it, it's out there. But you gotta set that intention to look for it, right? The more we love, the more love we see in the world, the more the world shifts around us. Others become transformed. By the renewing of their minds, others become that transformation. By the love we give, in turn, they serve as loving examples of all the different ways that love can look, inspiring others to make the same choices for themselves. Our decision to commit to loving ourselves fiercely creates a ripple of love around the entire universe. So in conclusion, developing and maintaining a personal spiritual practice is a wonderful way to remain grounded in recognizing spirit in all its expressions as us. Spiritual practices is not restricted to prayer and meditation. A practice of self-love could consist of exercising, it can be gardening, it can be us out working with our animals, just taking a walk, just finding another skill, opening up to new experiences. Your practice may look different every single day, and how wonderful is that? You can find a new practice of love every day. The intention to practice self-love is all that is needed. As we begin to tweak our own practices and reap the rewards, let's share our journeys with all the people around us so that others can benefit as well. This positive teaching, the science of mind, is not the world's best kept secret anymore. The word is out. As we love ourselves out loud, we inspire others to do the same. So I leave you with a quote from Marianne Williamson from her book, A Return to Love. Love is the essential fact. It is our ultimate reality and our purpose on earth. To be consciously aware of it, to experience love in ourselves and others, is the meaning of life. Again, that is a quote from Marianne Williamson out of her book, A Return to Love. So, let's follow our teaching and go into a little bit of prayer today, okay? Shall we? Let's go ahead and lower the lights a little bit. And I just invite you to close your eyes or take a soft gaze at the candles or the flowers. And I invite you to bring into your consciousness whatever the Creator looks like to you. God, Great Spirit, Goddess, Source Energy. I know there are many different names, as many different names as there are creations. And I know that our Creator is limited by none. I know that this is the power that is life-affirming love, light, joy, peace, and beauty. It's the power that operates within all of creation. And I know that this is the energy that is operating within my body. I know it's what's beating my heart, filling my lungs with oxygen, allowing me to be in perfect harmony and flow with love, unconditional love. And because I know this is true for me, I know it is true for each and every person here today, each person here in person, each person out there in Zoom. I know that each of us are beautiful manifestations We are beautiful, individualized expressions of the divine, the creator of all, the ultimate unconditional love. And that each of us holds a unique vibration and energy of unconditional love. And that is manifesting in this time as unique, individualized expressions of God. Each of us are that unique expression in beautiful, unique ways. And I just speak a word of blessing and love today over each beautiful soul, knowing that as we open our minds and our hearts and we embrace and we remember who we are, we step into fully feeling and knowing and remembering we are love. We are light. We are joy. And we are beautiful expressions in this world of form. And I speak a just word of love. A love. My heart permeates love out to each and every one of us, knowing it is coming back in full. And my heart fills with such gratitude for this knowing, this feeling, this being. And it bubbles out of my heart, this gratitude, and bubbles forward out into the beautiful universe. And I release this love, this gratitude, and this joy directly into that universal living, loving law, knowing it is always open and receiving and expressing and answering and says yes, 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 yes. And so I know as we open up to see more love, be more love in this world, that the universe responds with yes, and yes, and yes. For that I'm so very grateful. And I fully release this now, letting it completely go into that universe to be done. And we can all affirm this together by saying, so it is. Hi, we are going to go ahead and go into our offertory. If you guys would like to recite our offertory affirmation, if you'd like to take out whatever you're giving, place it on your heart, or just your love that we're giving out, placing that. And we will say this together.
I celebrate my abundance today and share it freely, and so it is.
Please speak a word over these tidings, knowing they are a manifestation of our ability to do good works and love in this world. Knowing that they bless the giver and the receiver, and that they are doing good works in our center and in our community. It's with great love and gratitude, I release these words directly into that universal living, loving God, knowing it is done. And so it is.
So it is.
And we have a closing song right there.
Nice. Nobody needs that.
Please repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening right now.
Something wonderful is happening right now.
It's happening in my mind.
It's happening in my mind.
It's happening in my body.
It's happening in my body.
And in the body of my affairs.
In the body of my affairs.
I think it.
I think it.
I feel it.
I feel it.
And I know it.
I know it.
Just the way that it is.
Just the way it is.
And just the way it is not.
And just